Hi, friends. I am reporting on my mediumship experience. If you're new here, my name is Sadie Smiley, and I record all things about my awakening ascension and all of the woo things that I am experiencing and having fun with. Now, just a housekeeping note here. My camera's here, and the window that's showing me is over there, so it's really weird. So sorry if you see me looking all around, but I wanted to share my experience with the latest mediumship class. If you're in my school, you've already read this post, but I've decided I'm going to do videos and text just so everyone who wants to see it can. All 5 of you now, there were 3, then 4, now 5 that are watching all my videos. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you're having fun. Leave me a comment so I can know about your awakening and your experiences. So I went to a mediumship class 2 nights ago, and the teacher had gathered the empaths and put them in an inner circle, which is interestingly enough, she asked who were empaths, and I did not raise my hand. I am an empath, but I do not like dealing with emotions. So I was like, whatever you're finna do with the empaths, I don't want no part of it. So I didn't say anything. So the other empaths got in the circle, and I have a feeling a few of the people who stayed on the outside were empaths too, because the inner circle, whenever they were asked the question, only 2 of like 10 or 12 got it right. Whereas in the outer circle, I think most people got it right whenever they asked. But anyway, so I don't enjoy dealing with emotions from people I know, much less people that I don't know. So I stayed on the outside. We gathered, and she had us all send the empaths the same emotion. And she said it was disgust. And I really didn't feel good doing that. I really didn't, but I did it. And the person who was sitting across from me that I was sending that emotion to nailed it. As soon as they had masks on. As soon as she took it off, her face was literally disgust. Nobody else described it the way she did. So that was really cool. I don't know if she was just amazing or if I just actually did a good job sending the emotion as well. Because, like I said, I wasn't really comfortable sending a bad emotion. I don't like that, but we did it. And then she had us send anxiety and anticipation. But the way she described it confused me because she's like, send them anxiety. And I'm like, ugh, I'm an expert at that. And then she's like, like anticipation and happiness. And I'm like, those are completely different emotions. So it was interesting. A lot of people got the anticipation whenever she asked what they felt. And then whenever she had us switch, we got in the middle. The empath sent us emotions. Initially, I felt really heavy, but just for a split second, and probably because I was bracing myself because I was afraid they were going to send something like disgust. But then I felt like pure bliss. And when people described it, there were a lot of people that described it, you know, what was it? They said that they felt happy, that kind of thing. But I described it as bliss. I didn't know how else to describe it. And the lady across from me, she goes, that's exactly what I was sending you. So it was really cool. She was having them send pure love. And so a lot of people picked up on the love part, but it was interesting that the person directly across from me, whenever I described it, she was just like, wow. So I think that there's something to be said like about the person in front of you, not necessarily the whole room, but the person in front of you. That was cool. Next, we paired up based on counting off numbers. So 1 through 10. I was number 3. The 333 has been stalking me for a few days now, probably a week now. So that was not a surprise to me. So we got both of the 3s got paired up for psychic practice. And so E read for me and then I read for her. I asked about my upcoming move. She was very spot on. It was interesting. The first thing she said, she's like, I see a curved path. And she's like, the curved path. And the house we're moving to is literally right on the curve. I know she was talking like metaphorically, but it was right on the curve. So that was cool. She said that I would need strong boundaries, which is very true for a myriad of reasons. And she also got to meet one of my guides. So she told me I had this really like big, beautiful purple aura around me the whole time. Purple's my favorite color, so that made me happy. But she was like, there's this like lavender orb that's very protective, that's next to you, that's been here the whole time. She's like, she's a little sassy. And I was like, oh, that's my fairy guide. Do you see her? And she was like, oh my God, you have a fairy guide? Jealous. Like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, she is. I was like, she's like light purple or pink and sparkly and da da da. And she's like, oh yeah, she is. And, told me she was sparkly and all this. She said she was sassy like Tinkerbell. And I was like, yeah, that matches. But it was really cool confirmation that she didn't even know the fairy guides were a thing, which I didn't even know a few months ago. And then she got to like meet my fairy guide. So that was cute. And then we switched, and she asked me the question she asked me, which, side note, you can do psychic readings in a bunch of different ways, but I prefer a question. I don't like just going into the ether and having nothing. I like a question. So that's how we did it. We asked each other a question. She said she saw a horse when she was meditating earlier, and she didn't know why. What did it mean? I was like, I'm still like new. So I'm like, well, I don't know what horses mean spiritually. So I cannot tell you like deep spiritual meanings, but I did sense this big horse in the woods. So I told her the message that she needed to hear. And I saw the horse in my mind. It had kind of like littler legs, like skinnier legs than it should have. And it was a magnificent horse, but the message was that she needed to trust herself. She you know how like whenever you ride a horse, if you don't trust the horse, then the horse spooks. Well, that's what she's doing to herself. I saw her like spooking herself. I also saw her as like a teacher or a mentor of all this stuff, and I was like, but it's not like this lady teaching a room full of 50 people. It's like one-on-one. I told her it felt like she was teaching her kids. It's like, mommy, why? Whoever this is asking a bunch of questions. And that this person that she's teaching is very knowledgeable and very powerful. She's going to know more than both of us combined. And she told me that she has a young teen daughter who's a medium and is always communicating with spirits. So I think that's who it was. And then I paired up with a guy to do mediumship. So we did the psychic first and then the mediumship, which I love practicing both. The mediumship was totally like an accident for me to get into, but I'm enjoying it. So again, you can do this a lot of ways. Some people just sit there and they're like, oh, I see a man. Oh, it's got brother energy. Oh, this. It feels like I'm guessing when I do that. I like to know who I'm connecting with. So I asked him who he wanted me to connect with. He said his sister who had passed. I instantly got a name, which has not happened with mediumship before with me and rarely happens any other time. I had just done, the week before, I had done a mediumship and I had connected with 5 different people and didn't get any names, any letters even. And as you guys know, if you've seen my videos, my spirit guides don't even give me names half the time. But the name I got was Margaret. We both had our eyes closed because I didn't want to like feed into his reactions. But he was like, and gasped. And I opened my eyes. I'm like, what? And he's like, you're close. Just keep going. And so, of course, I had no idea what it meant. Like, was her name Mary? Was anything? Come to find out, his sister's name was Melissa. And I'm like, thanks for giving me that credit, but it wasn't very close. He's like, no. Her best friend's name was Margaret. And this was after the fact. He didn't tell me anything during the reading, which is so hard. I like to get feedback, but I need to practice without it. He didn't give me anything during the reading, except I kept getting stuck on things, like hung up, like I would say something over and over and over. And I don't know why. She was just doing that. So I was in there like with her and it was doing over and over. He's like, yep, that means something, next, because it didn't make sense to me. So I got the number 7 and I told him that. And then I also got the number 8, but I didn't say the number 8 because I was like 7. I already gave him 7. 8's just the next number. That's stupid, Sadie. That it's not 7 and 8 or 7, 8, or maybe she was 78 when she died. I don't know. And I'm like, my brain's trying to peek in, right? So I just told him 7. Well, again, he said, yep, that means something, next. But he said, at the end of the reading, he said, when he and his sister were 7 and 8, they watched a movie about how I didn't really capture everything he was saying because she was still trying to talk while he was talking. But I think the man's wife died and she showed him a rose to let him know that she was there after she had passed. And I saw a white rose. He said it was a red rose. And he's like, yeah, it used to be red, but she passed over 50 years ago and now it's white. And the rose was like at the end of its life. It wasn't dead, but it was fully bloomed where it had like the fat petals, And so I got really hung up on the fact that I couldn't smell anything from her because one of my strongest clairs is, I think it's called clairalience, but it's when you smell. And I was like, I can't smell anything. Why don't I smell anything? And I'm like hung up, because there's like a rose garden right in front of me. Why don't I smell it? I smell things even when I don't see them. And he's like, no, that means something. Keep going. I'm like, okay. Well, he said that like used to, he would like, she would really reach out after she died. She died when she was 22. And she would reach out a lot. Like, he had her alarm clock and she would show him a blue aura and all this stuff. But, again, I kept freaking out about not being able to smell. And he said that it's because she passed so long ago. Like those things used to come through and now they don't. Now, I'm sure that I can connect and get smells from someone that has passed longer than that, but to him, that really meant something, so I thought that was interesting. It was wild to keep talking and throwing everything out there because they felt like really random facts, but after the fact, everything, he was like, that was a home run, that was a home run, that was a home run. So that was really cool that she came through like that. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at this, because I'm not doing anything. I'm just having to trust myself enough to open my mouth from what I'm hearing, feeling, seeing, all the things. I don't really hear things. It's more like it's just dropped in my head. I don't hear audibly and I don't see visually. It's just dropped in my head. I don't know how to explain it. So, she kept showing me a string. She kept going like this, and most of the string was red, and then this little piece was white. She kept showing me the string, kept showing me the string. There was this little thing, and it was unfinished business. And I was like, there's this tiny little thing she needed to do, and I don't know what it is. I was like, there's something tiny that was unfinished. I couldn't figure it out. Well, he told me that her baby was only 10 days old when his sister passed. And so I feel like the string was like her life. And then this is how much time she got with her baby because she kept showing it to me. Just talking about it, like, is a lot. But it was really nice to be able to give him, that message. I ended up in this class because I thought it said psychic practice. It actually said psychic mediumship practice. And I didn't even know, like, I didn't even think about what mediumship meant. I just skipped the word because I wasn't familiar with it. Had I known that it was mediumship and it was talking to dead people, I never, ever, ever would have taken the class. Not only did I not fully like believe in that, I'm like, yeah, a few people can talk to dead people, but that's not my thing. I never was interested. I wasn't even like, like most people, they'll talk to their past loved ones. I've heard that a lot from people. Oh, I talked to my mom, whoever. I never have done that. My dad died whenever I was 16, and I never was like, Dad, are you there? My grandma, my favorite person on this earth, in this universe, in this galaxy, died when I was young. Never was like, Grandma, are you there? I just never was connected to the other side in that way. Even when I was religious, like nothing, right? But now that I'm loving these classes because I took one from her and another one, and I'm just loving it. I'm experiencing so much, and I'm really glad I tried it, even if it was on accident, which we all know there's no accidents. But it's just like I'm learning to put myself out there more, which I've never would have done historically. I haven't, or in the past, and I never would have before. But now that I am, so many amazing things are happening to me, for me, with me, that. And I feel like I'm also able to help more people. Like, can you imagine your sister passed 50 years ago and you're able to feel a connection with her, even for a moment? Like, the lady was telling us that we needed to do evidential mediumship. I didn't know what that meant other than like evidence. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know. And so she talks about like how the people passed. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know. That's not, there's plenty of other evidence. One guy, I got a 17, his birthday was the 17th. That's plenty. I don't need to know how they passed. I don't need to experience how they passed. And I really don't want to. And I might change my mind later, but that does not feel good to me. She said that she feels like if they were, I can't say all these words on YouTube, but if something happened, she like feels it. I don't want to feel that. No, I'm good. I did though feel like a twisty feeling of pain in my side when I was reading for the guy about his sister, but could have been me, like my emotions. Whenever I have to deal with emotions, my kidneys hurt, so it could have been that. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that whenever I'm doing the mediumship. But anyway, that was my experience with meeting with Melissa, I guess, even though Margaret keeps popping in my head. Maybe she was popping through too, or I don't know. Maybe that was the evidence. Maybe that was, I could have said a lot of things like, oh, a white rose. Okay, but Margaret, out of all the names, yeah. And that's even more rare than a Melissa. So I think that that was her way of saying, hey, yeah, it really is me. Um, but yeah, try something new, guys. Try something new.